Hi, it's the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your July 2017 mid-month readings. Thank you so much for joining us here today and welcome to any newcomers. The thank yous first, always. Thank you for your likes, your shares, your subscribes, and for all your support, feedback, and comments. You guys are great. Keep them coming. I love reading them. Thank you to my regular clients as well for being so consistent in your feedback on how our readings continue to play out in your lives. I do love hearing updates from my clients as so I can continue to be a part of the unfolding chapters of your life. And just a general thank you to those of you who continue to keep me so busy with personal readings. It's an honor, a privilege, and a blessing always to be able to read for you, and I'm very grateful for the trust that you place in me to do so. And if any of you are interested in a personal one-on-one reading with me and you haven't read with me before, you can click on the About or Description button on my YouTube channel's homepage for more information, and my email address, which is Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. I would be delighted to work with you. I do a wide variety of readings, and I do readings full-time, 6 days a week. This is what I do. So turnaround time for personal readings is pretty quick. I'm usually able to get back with you within the same day, and turnaround time is anywhere from a few days upwards of 2 weeks, but almost always within a 2-week period of time, we can schedule a reading for you live or recorded. So if you're interested, email me and we'll go from there. So these are general readings. Make sure to check your rising and your moon sign videos as well, because being general readings, there's many of you watching, thousands of you watching. So of course they're not going to mean the same thing, resonate the same, play out the same to the same degree. I mean, it's impossible. That just couldn't happen, which is why we tell you to check your rising and your moon sign videos as well. If this one doesn't resonate for you, one of the others will probably play out more predictably for you. And just by watching all three, if you know them and if you can, gives you additional insight and clarification, kind of a bigger picture look. There's lots of free websites out there that will tell you what your rising and moon signs are, but I think you have to know your birth time for them. So some countries, there's not always the birth time, so it's not always possible to know. There's some other way that they do it, but while I have a basic understanding of astrology and I'm constantly reading up on it, I'm not an astrologer, so you'd have to contact one for more in-depth information on why that is. All right, so moving right along, this reading is for the water sign of Pisces. Pisces, the fish, our lovely mercurial Pisces, for July 2017 mid-month readings. These readings are for the time period of the last half of July 2017, although I am recording them in the first half of July. Let us see what the last half of July 2017 has in store for our Pisces, the water sign of Pisces. Pisces, the fish, for July 2017, a mid-month. Okay, Pisces, we begin with the Nine of Wands, followed by the Ace of Swords. Okay. Next, we have the Ten of Swords, followed by the Ace of Wands, air and fire energy, and from the bottom of the deck, your overall energy and guidance is the Star. So because these are the mid-month readings, I pulled 2 cards for each of the last remaining weeks with an additional 5th card from the bottom of the deck for overall energy and guidance. If it was the beginning of the month, it would be 9 cards because it's 2 cards for each of the 4 weeks. This is just for the last half of July 2017 for Pisces. Okay, Pisces, I'm going to actually start with your crowning card, your overall energy and guidance from the bottom of the deck, the Star. It's one of my 2 favorite major arcana cards are the Fool and the Star. It's a lovely, beautiful card. Major arcana card, so energies of God, Spirit, your angels and guides, however you choose to title it. The Star card this is a card about, the message primarily is hope, faith, but it's renewed hope, faith, and optimism. For example, I often get this card for people who have been ill for quite a long time and they're finally beginning to recover. People who have maybe had a bad breakup relationship, or loss or breakup or death, and they just kind of went off into an emotional cave to heal. And one day they wake up and realize the sun is still shining, and that perhaps they can still believe and love again, moving forward again. It's a card of renewed faith, hope, optimism. There's also a strong energy, a theme of peace, restoration, and healing. It's about faith and trust in what's playing out, even if you can't see how it's going to play out, even if you lack faith or you doubt how it's going to turn out. It's a card about walking in faith anyway. You can see that the woman on this card, she's kneeling in this body of water, and she's bare-breasted too. She's naked from the waist up. Can't tell if she's completely naked or not, which implies a sense of self-acceptance and self-love, faith. She's emptying her pitchers of water out into this body of water. She's completely emptying her own reservoirs out. She's doing it in perfect faith and confidence that her pitchers will be restored when she needs them, because the source itself is limitless. She trusts in that link to the divine, God, spirit, angels, and guides, divine timing and orchestration. She knows that the path that she's on, that the universe loves her, that it's all about, even the difficult lessons are all about her evolving, learning, and growing, and leading to her eventual joy and fulfillment. So even if she can't see how the path plays out, even if she has moments of doubt, it's still about walking in faith anyway and trusting in the path that you're on. It can be another card of wish fulfillment, of beautiful, beautiful things coming, even if you can't see them. It's walking in faith, hope, and peace, restoration, and healing too, particularly after something has happened, which it looks like something has. Some of you, this may be something that's going to occur in the last half of July. I think for a lot of you, it's something that's already occurred. You're still moving through maybe some painful feelings, energy, still healing and recovering as well. Your overall energy states it. So we find ourselves around the middle of July 2017 with the energy of the Nine of Wands, followed by the Ace of Swords. So Wands is fire energy. In the tarot, the suit of Wands is a very fiery, dynamic, action-oriented, fluid suit. Fire energy is creative energy. It's creating, manifesting, building. So the suit of Wands can often point to like career, artistic or creative endeavors, things that are about building, forward moving, creating things. Nines represent being almost at the end of something. Tens represent the end of something, culmination, coming full circle. So a nine represents being almost at the end of the journey being in sight, or the end of the lesson being in sight. The Nine of Wands represents kind of one last hurdle, challenge, a delay or setback of some kind. You can see this man has retreated a little ways. He's holding on to this one wand. This grouping of 8 wands in the background represents something unexpected that he's run into. This is a card about not giving up. It's darkest before it's dawn. Not giving up because you're very close to completing something, or a cycle is very close to completing, even if you can't see it or not. But the Nine of Wands represents kind of maybe a last obstacle, delay, challenge of some kind, perhaps unexpected as well. But it's about not giving up because you're so close to being done. So he's run into this unexpected obstacle, block, delay. It's about withdrawing, not a full-blown retreat or running away, but just withdrawing for a little bit, trying to get a different perspective, figure it out. How do I get past this or through this? Taking a step back to get a clearer perspective, to seek out an answer, illumination, because you're close to being done. You don't want to give up now. This man is a soldier. He's been through a number of battles. He's tired, worn out. He's probably been wounded a few times, but he's still going. You're almost done. You're almost there. There's just this maybe delay, obstacle, challenge, but don't give up now. The end is in sight. Even if you can't see it, it's there. So the Nine of Wands is accompanied by the Ace of Swords. So here we have air energy, which is the element which governs the suit of swords. So in the tarot, the suit of swords It's about what goes on up here in our heads. It's mental, cerebral, intellectual energy. It's about our words, our ideas, how we communicate them. It's about how we look at things, what we think about things, belief systems, perspectives, perceptions, and how that affects our communication. Aces represent the number one, promise, potential. Aces represent being at the beginning of a new path, a new start of something. My favorite analogy for aces is that they represent seeds. Seeds contain an entire world in them, but they have to be planted in the right kind of ground at the right time. They have to be nurtured and taken care of so that they can grow to their full potential and eventually end up sustaining, nurturing, and giving back to you. Otherwise, aces can fizzle out as the Ace of Swords could fizzle out as an idea that doesn't get acted on or carried through. It's about a new beginnings, but they still have to be taken care of and followed through so that they can fully manifest their potential. So the Ace of Swords could represent a new idea, a new perspective, a fresh way of looking at something. And it actually makes sense paired with the Nine of Wands, because the Nine of Wands is about a last obstacle, delay, challenge of some kind, but it's about taking a few steps back, getting a different look, a different perspective, so that you can figure out a way through this, figure out an answer, a way through this last challenge or this last delay or obstacle. And the Ace of Swords does that. It delivers. The Ace of Swords also represent truth, reality, illumination, knowledge, higher education, and learning. So the Ace of Swords comes in and it cuts away extraneous fantasy and illusion, and it delivers the reality of the situation for exactly what it is, not what you want it to be, hope it to be, wish it would be, but what it actually is. The Ace of Swords can represent success as well, but success that comes from looking at something head on as it really is, a new perspective, a new idea. And for, I think, the majority of you, this is a new perspective on something painful that has happened maybe recently, or the energy is still going on right now, or is happening in July. It's about getting a different perspective, taking a step back and getting a different perspective so that you're just not caught up in the negativity of it. Sometimes in painful or challenging situations or times, we tend to focus so much on the negative. And sometimes it's about needing to kind of take a step back and look at it and try and get a different perspective so we can get the lesson, the value of the lesson that we need to learn, what good we can take away from this because we've learned something, so that we can continue to evolve and grow on our path instead of getting stuck in the negativity of it. So whatever this is going on, which looks to be kind of challenging and maybe even painful for some of you, or having just run into one more obstacle, delay, challenge of some kind that you weren't expecting, try to take a step back and get a different perspective, a different look at it. Maybe get some feedback from trusted friends or advisors on what is good about this? What can I extract out of this that's helpful? Because that will also help you move through the healing process a little easier and a little quicker. So next we have and this would represent around the last week or so of July, although it could be energy of something that's already happening, but energy that's still very fresh. We have the Ten of Swords, followed by the Ace of Wands. So you have two aces in this reading, which there's only 5 cards in this reading, so 2 aces is really good. It represents new beginnings and success as well. Ace of Swords and Ace of Wands, so fire and air. So this is a new beginnings, a new way of looking at something, new ideas, new perspectives. And then the Ace of Wands, which is action-oriented new beginning, actually starting to manifest it into reality. The Ten of Swords, I don't like seeing this card for you, Pisces, for anybody really. Tens do represent the end of a cycle though, and that is the positive aspect about this. The Ten of Swords is often nicknamed the stabbed in the back card. It can represent a feeling of betrayal, of being stabbed in the back unexpectedly. This could be within a relationship, and any kind of relationship, a romantic relationship, a friendship relationship. It can represent betrayal energy in job, work, and career too. I've had this card come up when people get unexpectedly demoted, or they get fired, lose their job, the company goes out, they're downsized, they weren't expecting it, and they almost feel, especially if they've been there for a while, kind of a sense of betrayal, about losing their job. I've sometimes seen this card come up just as a sense of feeling betrayed by God or betrayed by life in general when they've gone through something difficult or painful. They feel like life itself or God has betrayed them. So you can translate this energy into a lot of areas in your life. For some of you, this could be in work, career, finance. It could be in the personal relationship sector of your life, or even religious or spiritual sector of your life as well. But there's a sense of feeling betrayed, stabbed in the back. Something very challenging or even painful has happened. You weren't expecting it. You're trying to get a different perspective, a fresh perspective, and Spirit is strongly advising you, even though it may be difficult to do, try to step back from the negativity and the pain and look at it. What am I meant to learn from this? That's going to help you move through this. Tens also represent the end of cycle, coming full circle. So the beauty of the Ten of Swords, the positive aspect is the worst has happened. Whatever happened to this man to put him face down on the ground, it's over with. It's never going to be that bad again. It's done. The worst is already behind you. It's happened. There's this beautiful golden light shining down through the swords, represent healing. It's time to get up, brush yourself off, and move through and through the healing process. You can see that the sun is rising in the background. A new day is dawning. The animals are beginning to return to the scene, all a sign of recovery, a new beginning. It looks like whatever it was very difficult and challenging, to say the least, if not painful. I'm sorry to see that, particularly if it was a betrayal, a personal betrayal in relationship. I'm sorry to see that for you. But the worst is over. There is healing energy, and it's time to move through the healing process or begin the healing process. Whether this is something that's actively going on in July, particularly the last half of July, or something that's already happened, you're still moving through this energy. Continue to move through it. And what you're going to find helpful is a new perspective, a fresh perspective. Okay, even if this was a bad relationship that went horribly awry, try to look at, okay, what am I meant to learn? What is the lessons that I can learn? Because that will give up some kind of positive aspect of it, which will make moving through it a little easier. Because you have these two beautiful aces. The Star card is your overall energy, and the Ten of Swords is paired with the Ace of Wands, which is action-oriented, exciting new beginnings as well. The Ten of Swords is completion. The worst is behind you. It's done, and now you're moving into new beginnings. Again, a fresh new perspective. The Ace of Wands is another new beginning, just like the Ace of Swords, but this is more action-oriented. The Ace of Swords is more about what goes on up in here, a new outlook, a new way of looking at it, a different perspective, which is what's needed to move through this healing energy. The Ace of Wands is okay, you're moving through this, you're getting a different perspective, even though you still feel this betrayed energy. And now it's time to move forward and put action to the idea, a new perspective, a new idea. Okay, now it's time to start physically, actively moving forward and to an exciting new beginning. You're starting off on something new. It could be a new job, a new creative endeavor. This could be all still in the formulating energy at the end of July 2017, but I feel like at the end of July and moving into August, you have a more clear and better idea of this new beginning, of what you're actually moving into. Again, what you're going to find helpful is getting a different perspective on whatever it is that's happening or that's happened, even though it looks challenging and painful. Try to look at it in a different way. Try to look at it in terms of what good you can extract from it, what lessons you can take out of it as you move forward. It'll add to that healing energy. And it looks like at the end of July and moving into August, you're off on a new beginning, a new path that looks very exciting, that you're kind of excited about, and it's also going to help you. Movement also helps lessen and sometimes even negate, energy, this betrayal energy, this pain energy. Movement, it always helps. It's when we sit and just focus on the negativity that it kind of gets bigger. We end up kind of feeling stuck in it, and it lasts a lot longer. So movement, moving away, learning the lessons we need to learn, moving through the healing process, but action and forward movement is one of the best healing tools that we have. So Pisces, that pretty much wraps up your July 2017 mid-month reading. I hope you have. I almost always say I hope you have enjoyed it. It looks like a lot of you have dealt with something just flat out painful or challenging. So of course I don't want to say I hope you enjoyed that, but I hope you enjoyed the reading, because there's positive aspects always. There's a way that you can move through this, or are moving through this in a healthy way. Have faith. It's going to work out fine for you, Pisces. Your overall energy is the star. Hope, faith, and optimism. It's there. It's coming. A cycle is drawing to a close. You're off on new beginnings. They look very exciting. So have faith. Keep moving forward, Pisces. It's going to work out well. So that's the part that I hope you enjoy. I hope it's giving you some insight and wisdom, food for thought, because ultimately that's why we do these readings. That's why I do these readings. So Pisces and whoever else is watching, I will see you all again in a couple of weeks for the August 2017 general readings. And again, if any of you are interested in a personal one-on-one reading with me, you can click on the About or Description button on my YouTube channel's homepage. You can email me directly at Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. I would be most happy to work with you. As always, Pisces, until I see you again, I wish you joy, peace, blessings, and a happy life. And I hope to see you back here again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.